strings and character literals introduced. Really? Uh, Single character terms are often used in no, I can wait. Binary numbers required. E fixed lengths. I am working on a native assembler for Command 64 OS, an operating system I am developing for the Commodore 64 exclusively using AI as a bit of an experiment. Um, my gold standard for the assembler will be to uh, eventually be able to build Command 64 um, within itself and all of its components within itself. Uh, Command 64 uses a relocatable application uh, format that um, uses multiple, right now at least, uses multiple builds to create a relocation table. Um, oh, the test directory is test file is huge. It has everything. Um, question could be asked, why am I implementing an assembler at this point? Because I needed something external. I discovered a bug that I do not want to deal with right now. There's a corruption that can occur when copying a file on the same device. And I just didn't want to deal with it, so I've spent the last few days implementing things that were separate. Avoidance is a powerful thing. Um, right now, the assembler CASM uh, is in its pretty early stages. The foundation um, is being laid. We're in phase 3 of 12 or 18, I think. And within phase 3, uh, we're working on um, work package work package 8, which will ironically, because of a 0, it will increment the stage to 10 when completed. But there are a couple of zeros and updates that bumped the uh, stage number. Right now, CASM has a work package 8 is part of the lexer. So right now, it really doesn't do anything. It just it reads a file, but it can't do anything with it just yet. This will be the first real meaningful changes. It's uh, developing the lexing of the assembler. Um, I implemented a debug application. Command 64 is sort of a spiritual port or spiritual implementation of MS-DOS, inspired by the open source versions that Microsoft released. Um, Debug was one of the first um, applications I made for it. Uh, there's a load routine, and the load routine is not required. As you can see, CASM was run directly, but what the load routine does is load an application into resident memory, which I'll show in just a second, and creates a process table, which looks exactly like that. Now I can run debug directly from memory, but I can also load in something like Conway and uh, Pac-Man. It does fitting. So if I free up something, um, it will try to fit the next thing loaded into an open slot that is large enough. Welcome in, anyone who's just joining. Um, so if we take a look at our process list here, uh, yeah, yeah, and they're byte aligned, chunk aligned, if you will, to 256 byte alignments. That's why the address 4E00 with a size of 11C0 pushes Pac-Man out to 6,000. They're not byte 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 aligned proper. It doesn't do tight packing. But I can now run debug or any of those directly within the uh, within resident memory. Um, if we look at 6,000, we can disassemble Pac-Man, and fingers crossed, if I jump to it with G, it'll start up Pac-Man. Uh, and it may, I've had some trouble with returning from applications of late, uh, particularly relocatable ones. Um, get these guys out of the way. And we'll see. Well, we'll just quit out. We'll see. Yeah, that returns all the way out. It should have returned back to debug. That may be the Pac-Man application itself. Oop, Dvorak typist. Um, Conway. Um, and that's also a symptom, of course, of welcome in nano machines. It is not yet, but it will be. I am developing it um, uh, uh, under an MIT license. I just haven't made it publicly available. If you're interested, you can hit me up, and we could maybe work something out. I could send you, at the very least, an image. I don't even have a website for it yet, really. I started working on it and then got distracted. And over the next couple of days, I'm at a convention with my kids, so I won't really be working on anything. I'm going to get a little bit of time into this. Um, it is all in assembly. I have had pretty reasonable luck with playing different AIs off of each other to get assembly. Eventually, I want to add in hooks so that uh, and APIs so that applications can be developed in C. My first target for that. Um, okay, processes is maybe a misnomer. They're loaded resident, so they're not. There's not multitasking threads. Um, I'm not sure how I would accomplish that. I might try it um, much later, but they're loaded resident in memory, and so let's see if I've got something that would work. Um, so Edlin, I have to think here. Oop. So this is a known issue. Um, if there are disk errors, um, for read errors, the disk can get stuck. Uh, uh, a file not found for trying to execute something, for example, will get it stuck. I have a flush command that flushes the error, basically. I need to implement error draining, but it's not part of the core OS right now. For now, I consider that acceptable since I sometimes have a need of knowing what that error is. So, um, at any rate, we were talking about PS and Edlin. So, if I free up Conway, um, um, you'll see that I've got that space there now. And if I'm remembering correctly, Edlin will fit. It should. I don't think it's that big. I think it's a 2000. Everything is in hex, with the exception of in the directory listing, there's a byte, decimal byte size there. So Edlin has been automatically inserted into. Yes. So Edlin, Debug, and Pacman all run the same regardless of where they're loaded. Um, I can stick something kind of arbitrarily. Uh, like I could take Conway now. It would actually prevent me from doing this though. So like I tried to put it at 6100. It's gonna look okay. It should, fingers crossed. Yeah, address overlap with Pacman. But I could just do. I haven't tried loading up this high before. I just never need to. But I should be able to put it up here at 8000. And then they're all like so, and I should be able to just run Conway. Um, and Edlin requires parameter, uh, so but they can be passed in from the run. So I can. It's just a test file that uh, contains a bunch of text in it. It's identical lines pretty much. List just lists things. There's a weird behavior that I'm not sure about. I need to confirm if it's uh, historically accurate to Edlin in MS-DOS. Um, but it does this listing of 24 lines, but it uh, doesn't implement, or it doesn't change the active line number. So if I do it again, it'll do it from one. Whereas if I do P, which is paging, uh, it updates the line number. And I think, yeah, that's the bug. P should have. Uh, Maybe not. Maybe I got to check that. That incremented that changed the line number, but 30 lines is, I think, the limit. So this might be right because it's the bottom of bottom of it. Edlin's got ranges. So I should be able to do like 1,5 L and then list the first five. Um, if I do say like 4D, everything is everything has to be done in uppercase. It's not normalizing the commands in Edlin properly. Um, but if I do like so and then uh, list them out, you'll see that line number 4 is removed. I can write it out then. All things being good and right, there's no corruption. I've had some problems with writes. Um, in particular, I was having trouble with a copy um, uh, as a command for the OS because of the sequential nature, I think, of the drives on the Commodore 64. I think things turn out okay um, in emulation, but I had some difficulties with copying a file on the same device uh, on physical hardware. If I type out Edlin test, it'll probably just scroll away, but you can kind of see it that 4 is indeed missing. Um, let me add another device. So devices follow the device number. And you can switch either with the shorthand or with a drive command. I'm going to look real quickly at what things are happening here. I don't know how well that shows. That doesn't show real. Oop, okay. Um, so make sure that builds. Okay. We'll just check um, if the assembler loads properly real quick. Make sure that it didn't get broken. Uh, Okay, yeah, the assembler require 1028 is a stale build number. The build number should be automatically incremented. So I am, so I can keep track and make sure that things are in fact being built, and I'm not testing the same version. Uh, Hang on. Hmm. Hmm. Apologies. Uh, it looks like something may not be building correctly, or not updating correctly. That may be a more accurate. In which case, I need to change something. But let's see. As the last thing explicitly loaded, I should just be able to run CASM. Okay, that's better. Um, a set of test files include an empty, which is expected to fail because of limitations of the uh, platform. Let's see, are there other user tests that need to be performed? So, um, stage 10 isn't confirmed. Gemini getting all proactive and advancing advancing a stage number. Okay. Go through all of my 256 should fail with an error. Right now, the only error is, for parsing at least, is internal error. Um, empty fails with a canon open. Internal errors are some sort of uh, error with parsing. It's not necessarily fatal. Well, all errors are treated as fatal, but it's not necessarily a parsing error so much as a malformed, like too long a line, for example. And the reason I loaded it resident is so I just pull it out resident. It makes it a little faster, obviously. I think that's all of them. Uh, there is, which should fail. Yes, good. All tests behave as expected. OP8 complete. Um, as part of the relocatable, uh, Command 64 uses a REU, the RAM expansion unit. Um, um, Once upon a time, in the many, many years ago, uh, I owned an original Commodore 64, but I sold it as a teenager. So now my physical hardware is the C64 Ultimate, and that's what I test on when I test on physical hardware. But from a development cycle, uh, it's it's a lot easier to test in emulation. It's got its limitations, though. Let's see what my model usage looks like. Not bad. Now I'll have it. I'll start the planning for the next phase, which is expansion of the Lexer. Hey, little packages. I'm good. I have yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not going to be able to get on in the next couple of days because uh I'm going to a convention with my kids, so I want to get. Yeah, I know, I know. I might make it. I might be able to make time for like a couple of reading ones maybe, or some like con updates. But I'm not going to have my development environment available to me, and by the end of a convention day, it's a lot of walking around. And yes, they what are they doing? Um, they're going to be cosplaying. One day the twins from Owl House, and one day a couple of characters from Witch Hat Atelier. Uh, my At the last convention they went to, they cosplayed uh, Terranetza and Scarlet Elvendinium from uh, uh, may I make one final request? And they did incredible. Uh, yeah, Owl House was it showed on Disney. It was a really progressive in a lot of ways a few years ago. Witch Hat Atelier is relatively new. We've been watching it on Crunchyroll. Yeah, that one we're watching on Crunchyroll. Um, may I ask one final thing is also, new within the last year or so. Um, yeah, they did really well. They didn't win because when we went in for judging, the outfits were not like fully complete. The construction that was done, we got lots of really, big compliments on. The next day, they were done and ready for them to perform in the masquerade, and the judges were absolutely floored. They asked how. And I said, well, because I've been hand sewing while they've been getting ready here, and we did a whole lot of stuff late last night. The lesson that we learned is if a cosplay is not ready, um, we do not take uh, full full equipment for finishing a cosplay. Um, that that's the first time we've taken, a sewing machine with us, and that just means that you don't do the con. You spend all your time working on it. We take a repair kit with us, um, that's uh, minor fixes, like hot glue, thread, scissors, but no full-blown sewing. That was uh, it was good that they got to do such a great job in the masquerade. They got robbed. They should have won. Um, I'm I'm biased, but they should have at least placed. Um, and uh, That was good, but we mostly missed the convention itself, and that's unfortunate because it's a good convention. This time it's a smaller convention. We're not worried about competition at all, I don't think. I don't think they even have anything. So we're not worried about the level of the cosplays as much. They're gonna go in simpler things, and it'll be good though. It'll be really good. It'll be fun, and that's the important part. Uh, what's uh, Gemini saying? Let's see what the implementation plan looks like. Okay, yay, we're finally at like mnemonics and stuff. Um, it'll be easier if I bring that up over here, right? Yes. I think it shows the same thing, but last night, after I, ended my stream, I had a little bit of extra time. I got couple more work packages done. Um, uh, Discovered that uh, Codex, ChatGPT, whichever you prefer to call it, doesn't have daily or hourly gating, just weekly. And I've blown through over half of my weekly for it. So I'm using Claude and Gemini now. Um, but knowing that I am not going to be available, I've been using slightly higher levels for Claude because I'm not so worried about um, having a couple of days that I won't be on. Um, but boy, that this higher level of Claude just eats eats the hourly uh, limit. Like my It resets in 2 hours, and I'm like 75% through my usage, and I'm usually able to kind of milk it along a little bit slower than that. Let's see. Yeah, the higher level, it's a big jump from what was it, Sonnet to Opus is a really like big jump. I'm gonna see how Sonnet does the next round. Um, yeah, it seems like it's less token based now. They moved away from tokens because tokens weren't real accurate. People were kind of getting around that. Um, and it's more about the computational effort, which is um, more sensible. Uh, that's tough to answer. Yes, it's been better output, I think. I don't know if that is a symptom of having better groundwork laid by GPT, um, or if Opus was just that much better, but it uses about twice as much computational effort as Sonnet. So it's I don't know. Sonnet is five. Um, Fable, I'm not even gonna touch. My wife blew through her entire monthly allotment for Claude at work in like a week by using Fable. So I'm not even gonna touch that. This looks pretty good though. Yeah, yeah. It's, on the 31st, she can start using Claude again. Uh, the the uh, the flip side of that, right, is that she got, the work of like four people done. Um, so I mean, what would have taken four people a week, she did by herself in like 4 days. So it's like, I don't know. Is it better or worse? But I can see how it get really, really spendy. And the way she responded to it was, well, the last time someone said anything, they said, I have like millions of tokens and just to use things. So I did. Wait. Yeah, it's exactly what she said. You said use them, so I used them. check this. This is just mapping. Might just be mapping. Okay, just mapping. All right, that's fine. Yeah, fair enough. Oops. All right. For anyone just joining, I'm working on a native assembler for an operating system, Command 64, that I'm writing for the Commodore 64. Um, I am using almost exclusively various AIs, ranging from Claude, GPT, Gemini, even occasionally some locals. Um, it's a bit of an experiment to see, can I write an operating system uh, using AI? The answer is yes, kind of. It does work. Um, okay, didn't update all of it. All right. Yes. Move on to the implementation plan for phase 3, work stage 10. The gold standard, of course, for an assembler is and an operating system is to be able to build it within itself, and that is the goal with CASM. Right now, um, I am working on the lexer. Um, so currently there's no output. It's still the scaffolding of um, lexing and parsing. Um, this cycle is where uh, uh, lexing errors will become uh, more more useful. Um, and I expect this one to be potentially one that takes a bit to get right. Um, uh, me bring that up. Uh, that's no good. All file references should be relative. Do not include my directories. Yeah, much better. Thank you. Diagnostics, good. This is the big thing here. Still fitting into our anticipated envelope. Um, um, this here, for example, is using API that is part of the OS. The operating system itself uses ROM routines by creating a combination of jump tables. So there's a primary jump that jumps to a jump table, which can be moved around if needed. Um, and then that provides locations for ROM and API routines. Uh, for the sake of memory, I disable basic, and it is re-enabled on a clean exit. Uh, okay, good. Welcome in, folks. I am in the process of working on um, CASM, a native assembler for Command 64 OS, an operating system for the Commodore 64. I am working on as an experiment using almost exclusively, AI. Um, I'm using different AIs. They uh, they do better at different tasks. And sometimes I have to downgrade or shift. Downgrade's the wrong word. Shift uh, for the sake of uh, availability. I discovered yesterday that GPT does not have any limitations on your daily or hourly usage, just on your weekly and monthly. So I blew through over half a week in a day, but I'm not around for a couple of days, so that's okay. Let's see how 10, let's see how work stage work package 10 turned out. I use this load command to load applications into resident memory. They can be run directly, but because I'm going to go through a handful of tests, uh, I I want to be able to do them a little more easily uh, by running them straight out of memory. Oh, goody. Uh, uh, no, um, expand the details of manual verification. different AIs have vastly different approaches to things. Uh, GPT, at least the one that I was using, would have where's manual verification? There we go. Okay. Uh, CASM short. Uh, that that is not. That's not what I'm seeing for CASM short. Uh, that can never be. I don't have LDAs or anything like that. Yeah, oh, I've realized I didn't have those. No kidding. You don't. You don't say. Yep. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. That. Hmm. Huh. Okay. Uh. Yeah. CASM short. Shouldn't do that. Failure is due to character set mismatch. I'm stunned. That's my most common problem is a character set mismatch between the host and Commodore 64. Almost always end up needing to use values and constants instead of character literals. It's incredibly frustrating. I'm sure there's some kind of directive that can be added, um, but it's really frustrating. I'll rebuild the test image. Let's cast them up. And fingers crossed. Uh, yes, let us get a screenshot of that. Where did that go? Somewhere sensible, hopefully. Maybe. No. Okay. I gotta look closely at this. Directive unknown. Uh, .org. It results in directive unknown. Any other errors? Hex, new line. Yes, mnemonic. Uh, identifier. Otherwise, though, let's see. Yes, hash, yes, number, decimal, yes, L2, yes, C10, new line, yes, um, I actually think it may have done more than it is perhaps supposed to have, um, which, or the documentation is stale. Documentation was stale. Token too long. But it did rebuild things. So let's see, version 1034. Let's refresh things, see if we get 1035 or better, and a bit better results. Still says identifier instead of mnemonic, but I'm okay with that. Directive, org, number, hex, new line, yes. Mnemonic, identifier, sure. Um, uh, but since there's diagnostic to it, which I think is the identifier. Number, decimal, uh, C, hash, yes, yes, yes. New line, identifier, STA. check the register. Register looks right. Comma, yes. Hex 400, yes. No further testing until mnemonic bug fixed. Uh, I lied. I'm going to do it anyway. Run CASM LN256. That was a token error, not a source 2-line error last time. Token too long. Which I think maybe it's maybe the same from its perspective, but just to be sure, we'll comment on it momentarily. Run CASM empty should be an error. Yes, run CASM should insist on a CASM LN 256 reported is token too long. I suspect this terminology. Interesting. Now, really aggressive about wanting to commit this. Really, really aggressive about it. I'm not happy about that. I let it add things automatically, but not commit them, and it thinks that just because it's added it, it should be able to commit it. Make sure there haven't been refresh 36. I don't think that's right. It says 36. I'm skeptical. It should bump automatically, so it should never really be out of sync, but every once in a while. But it claims 36. Oh dear. Okay, that might be expected. Um, no. Hmm. Headline. No. Oh, that one. Okay. Sure. Scrolls. Identifier L. L colon 1C count until it reports CASM source location overflow. is this intended? It's not in the testing documentation. If this is intended. And let's see. These things happen. All right. My kids in the background getting louder and louder. I check empty and no argument. That's good. All other tests pass. Okay. Yes. Now it may be committed. Wow. Uh, Howdy from the United States. Is it Grumpy? It's been a long time since I did any study of German. So I try to get things right. When I don't, please correct me as best you can. Uh, yes, that's fine. What brings you here? What brought you into my my stream? I'm curious. And happy to have you here. Welcome. Ah, okay. Um, nice. That's fantastic. So what I am working on is a native assembler for Command 64, which is an operating system for the Commodore 64. I am writing almost exclusively using AI. I've had to do some manual stuff, and there's been some manual things um, that have been just a lot easier to do by hand. Um, but almost exclusively, this has been built with AI. It is 6502 assembly. Um, the the application set right now is fairly limited, but it it has the idea of relocatable applications that can be loaded into resident memory. Um, I can run something directly, of course. Um, oh, how exciting! I haven't played it, but I am familiar with Gianna Sisters. Um, that is really exciting. Congratulations. Um, I think that was a really great response of theirs to Nintendo not not cooperating or not allowing a, a port of the Mario Brothers. Um, good on them for doing their own thing. Uh, to my most recent viewers, if you're new, welcome. I was just explaining I'm working on an assembler for an operating system. I am building through the use of AI in 6502 assembly. Um, the operating system itself um, uses a method right now, a dual assembly and linking on the host computer, um, cross assembling to generate a relocation table. So applications can be loaded into more or less arbitrary memory locations and still run. Um, for example, so CASM, CASM, is the assembler I'm working on. Um, all of my values, I just display them in hex right now. Um, that's great. What are you working on, Vrampi? Card game. Good. What kind of card game? Your own card game or an implementation of like solitaire, for example? For example. Well, is that legitimately stream Lexer? Package verification and close out. Yes, yes, we are. That's awesome. Uh, Uh, I am not familiar with that one, I don't think. The car card game I am familiar with is the French card game Melbourne. Well, at least I've always thought it was French. Welcome back, little packages. This is super exciting, folks. I am about to proceed to phase 4. Okay. Uh, are you allowed to lie? Are you allowed to be deceptive? Or when you write say, do you mean play? What's the name in German? I can look the game up. That might make it a little simpler. Yeah, that does sound cool, little packages to make a C64 version of that. Oh, I see. Uh, did it come in different variations? Okay, auto quartet. I see. I see. Quartet itself is kind of the genre or the producer, because I see one that looks like it looks like cars. I see one that's cars for sure, and then it looks like there's one that's like maybe castles or maybe like tourist attractions or something. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool. Phase 4 work package 11. Okay, most popular was cars. That makes sense. The versions I see are vintage. So is this an older game? And have there been modern versions made? Like I see some of the old, looks like maybe 1960s cars shown on the copy that I saw online. Okay, so you have like more modern versions that have modern German sports cars, for example. Wow. Okay, so there's like 66 versions. Well, anti-gravity is telling me I have used up my quota for Gemini. So I'll throw Claude on this, but uh, I okay. That's yes, yes. Um, that is awesome. Keeping the community spirit of the Commodore 64 really alive. I love it. Um, did you own a Commodore 64 when they were new, or are you a modern retro enthusiast? You're thanks, little packages. I was trying to be subtle. I am old. I own it. Mine was when I was a kid. I sold mine as a teenager and then replaced it with the Commodore 64 Ultimate, which I will okay, okay, right around like mine. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I won't lie. The Commodore 64 Ultimate, I like it a lot. It's got some nice quality of life improvements. I may still look for a vintage one to add to my collection. For example, I would really dig a one of the executives, the SX that's portable. Um, I'd love to see a modern version. Imagine what you could do with all the space in there. Uh, if you had an LCD display and or one of the other low power consumption and a whole bunch of LiPo batteries. You could keep that thing going for days. Goodness gracious. You That's like running a museum level. Yeah, all like 36502s. It's just tons of okay, misprints of the logo. That's pretty cool. Oh, for sure. Germany was huge for the Commodore 64. They had a big scene. I'm not surprised that it's still big. Okay, so um, I have already pushed myself farther than I had intended to, and I would keep pushing, but I am on a timeline also. Do me a solid. Thank you so much for joining. Um, Follow if you want, but more than that, stick around for a few minutes while we raid out to uh, Cricket. Um, I raided him the other day, and he was a nice guy. So um, I'm gonna start, and we can wrap up. Been It's been really great. I've made a lot of progress, and it's been fantastic meeting you, Frampi. Um, Little packages. Thank you for dropping in again. I'll probably be back Monday, if not Tuesday. Um, yeah, I've been enjoying this, and I'm really excited. I made a lot of progress, like a lot. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So let's go pay him some love. Why is that not? mm, What happened? Oh no, no. Here we go.